When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. Lao Tzu. As the modern world searches for meaning in the noise of consumerism and chaos, ancient voices return with unexpected harmony. In this exploration, we discover that Stoicism and non-duality, two seemingly divergent traditions, converge on a truth more profound than intellectual alignment, a reality beyond duality, beyond suffering, and beyond the self we think we are. For years, I've tried to reshape Stoic wisdom for today, not to update it, but to adapt its essence for a world facing new distractions, anxieties, and questions. What surprised me most in this journey is how often readers recognize echoes of something deeper in my Stoic reflections, connections to Advaita Vedanta, Buddhist insights, and Taoist paradoxes. Massimo Pigliucci even highlighted these links in his thoughtful overview of my work. The connection is not a stretch. At the heart of both Stoicism and these ancient non-dual traditions is a central conviction: the illusion of separateness. Non-duality, sometimes called non-dual awareness or oneness, isn't one tradition but a philosophical undercurrent running through many. Buddhism, Advaita Vedanta, Taoism, Sufism, and even certain Christian mystics. It holds that the fragmentation we perceive between mind and matter, self and world, or thought and being is not real. This illusion, so deeply embedded in language and culture, is the root of human suffering. Non-duality claims that existence is not divided into subjects and objects, but rather it is a seamless, undivided whole. This idea isn't confined to monasteries or mountain caves. In fact, non-duality has become increasingly popular in modern spirituality. Figures like Eckhart Tolle, Deepak Chopra, and even Sam Harris have brought aspects of non-dualist thinking into mainstream discourse. Their message resonates. Suffering ends when separation ends. And what stands between us and this truth is not the world, but our ideas about the world. Now consider Stoicism, especially in its original ancient form. Though not explicitly non-dualist, Stoicism carries within it a vision of cosmic unity. The Stoics saw the universe, what they called the cosmos, as a living, divine organism. It wasn't simply governed by reason, logos, it was reason itself, actively shaping all things. The cosmos was God. Everything, stars, stones, thoughts, was part of one living entity. This is a form of pantheism, or perhaps more precisely, panentheism. All things in God, and God in all things. However, this Stoic unity is complex. The Stoic God is made of two interdependent principles: the active, logos, the divine reason, and the passive, matter. These principles are intertwined, not separated. Both are material. Yes, even reason and soul are understood as forms of subtle matter. In this way, Stoicism diverges from non-dual traditions like Buddhism or Vedanta, which often frame the world as illusion or dreamlike projection in awareness. Yet both systems, despite this metaphysical contrast, arrive at a powerful philosophical similarity: that everything is part of one totality, and that our suffering arises when we lose sight of this truth. Where the connection becomes especially illuminating is in the realm of selfhood. What are you really? Stoicism and non-duality both ask this question, not as a riddle, but as a path to liberation. Epictetus, the Stoic sage, strips away all the layers of identity: possessions, reputation, even body and mind. What remains is something indestructible: the hegemonikon, the ruling faculty of the soul. This ruling part is not your thoughts or emotions, which come and go. It is your capacity for judgment, assent, and impulse. It is the sovereign within. Marcus Aurelius called it the inner citadel, the inviolable core that no one can conquer unless you hand over the keys. Similarly, non-dual teachings point us toward the ineffable self by removing everything that is not truly us. This is known in Vedanta as neti neti. Not this, not that. You are not your body. You are not your thoughts. You are not even your beliefs. What remains is awareness itself, the field in which all experience arises. This awareness is not yours. It is you. The mind and body are simply patterns playing within it, like waves in the ocean. Here's a practice to demonstrate this. Observe your thoughts for a moment, then ask yourself, what will my next thought be? You might find, curiously, that there is a pause, a silence before a thought appears. In that silence, you are still present. This presence is not a thought, nor is it bound to a body. It is simply awareness. This is the foundation of non-duality, the recognition that you are not a person within experience, but the presence in which all experience unfolds. Because this truth is not conceptual, it can't be fully described, it can only be experienced. Zen Buddhism, for instance, uses paradoxical riddles, koans, to break the grip of linear thinking and usher in a direct recognition of reality beyond thought. In that recognition, the I we habitually identify with dissolves. What emerges is not emptiness, but fullness, being itself. And here again, the Stoics resonate. The real self, Epictetus teaches, cannot be harmed, not because harm doesn't exist in the world, but because the true self is not of the world in the way we usually think. It's not the ego, not the reputation, not the sensations or even memories. It's the part of us aligned with reason, logos, the part that chooses how to respond. This is a kind of spiritual invincibility, not unlike what non-dualists describe as the untouchable presence beneath all forms. Even the promise of freedom sounds the same. Epictetus writes that if you can distinguish what is truly yours from what is not, your will from the external world, you'll never suffer injustice, never feel enslaved, never be harmed. Non-dual teachers like Bob Adamson or John Wheeler echo this sentiment by stating that you were never bound in the first place. The self who suffers is an illusion. There is no one lost, Wheeler writes, no one to be afraid. The implication is staggering. The self, as we commonly understand it, always slips away when we try to grasp it. It can't be located because it was never a thing. It's always the subject, never the object. And what cannot be objectified cannot be broken. Another area of deep resonance is the emphasis on the now. Both traditions place extraordinary value on the present moment. For non-dualism, the now is all there is. Past and future are mind constructs, phantoms that create regret or anxiety but are never real. To rest in the now is to be free of suffering. Marcus Aurelius, in Meditations, offers almost identical advice. He warns himself not to dwell on the past or obsess about the future. He encourages himself to face each moment as if it were his last. What burdens us, he writes, is never the present, only our thoughts about what was or what might be. When we strip the moment of these illusions, we find that we can endure almost anything. In both Stoicism and non-duality, presence is power. To be grounded in the now is to escape the grip of fear, anxiety, and suffering. Flow states, mindfulness, and even peak performance science are rediscovering what these ancient traditions knew intuitively. We suffer most when we are not where we are. And yet these comparisons barely scratch the surface. One could easily devote entire volumes to the intersection of Stoic cosmology and non-dual metaphysics, or to their differing views on determinism, ethics, or the nature of enlightenment. What's more important for now is to recognize the power of this union, not to dilute Stoicism into a generic spiritualism, but to reclaim its transformative potential. Too often, Stoicism is reduced to a therapeutic tool, a kind of emotional first aid kit. But when seen through the lens of non-duality, Stoicism reveals itself as something bolder. It is not just about coping with hardship, but about awakening to a reality where suffering becomes optional, where the world is one and where the self is far greater than we thought, or perhaps never existed at all. Finally, a word on courage. I misunderstood it for a long time. I saw courage as an external act, something done on battlefields or stages. But non-duality taught me that true courage is non-fear. the absence of fear, born from the recognition that there is no one to be afraid. When the ego dissolves, so does fear, and in its place is fullness, clarity, and peace. Stoicism, too, aims for this. Its tools, discernment, discipline, detachment, are methods for unchaining the soul. To be courageous, in the Stoic sense, is to be free from opinion, from loss, from fate itself. This is the practical legacy of both Stoicism and non-duality, not abstract metaphysics, but liberation, not theories, but transformation, a return to what we already are.